a graduate student in the school counseling program here at Millersville. I want to welcome you all to the Youth Mental Health Rights portion of Millersville University's Human Rights Conference. This session features Joe Volupis, his students, and some student musicians who are here to represent Avidum. Avidum is a grassroots initiative that empowers youth to find creative ways of delivering the message that mental health is a basic human right. These youth advocates are transforming the mental health awareness of their schools and communities in powerful ways, even if it sometimes means wearing a yellow banana suit to show that, unlike a banana walking down a crowded hallway, depression doesn't always stick out. Avidum started in 2004 when one of Joe's students, a friend of mine, who I remember as a positive and social force, committed suicide. On this personal note, I'm proud to welcome Avidum to our school.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Nadine Garner. I teach in the psychology department and the school counseling program. I'm also the director of the Center for Sustainability. It's a new office on campus that you might not be familiar with. And when people hear the word sustainability, they often think it has only to do with environmental preservation. But over 20 years ago, the United Nations set forth an idea that in order to have a sustainable society, you also had to have another key component, and that was social justice, which we are calling human rights. And what you'll see today with Joe Volupis and the Avidum folks, that mental health is very much a basic human right that often goes overlooked. So without further ado, we look forward to a great presentation today. And if you give them another welcoming hand, please.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Do I need a microphone? No. Okay. If for some reason you can't hear me in the back, let me know and I will put it up a little bit more. My name is Joe Volupis, and I'm a school teacher. I teach English at Cocalico High School in Lancaster County. Do I have any Cocalico grads here? When did you graduate? Last year. Awesome. Anyone else? Okay, so we got, okay, so we can applaud for a couple, because it's like pretty good. I have to tell you right now, this is going to be informal. I'm not going to stand up here and give you some kind of formalized speech. We have a mission, we have a goal, and by the end of this presentation, I hope that when you hear the word Avidum, you also think this is something that you would like to be part of, because we need your help. Students on this campus need your help, and all those students in all those high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools across this state and across this nation, they need your help. And I truly, sincerely, wholeheartedly believe that we can save lives. I've seen it already, and I can only imagine what will happen as this will continue. We are going to start it with a video. Everything that you see and everything that you hear today was created or directed by or somehow had a student involved in the making of it. And what you're going to see in this video is we had a young man who was working toward his Eagle Scout, a high school student. And he approached us and said, "What do you need?" And I said, "Avidum needs a video that I can show when we speak. I'd like a video that could play for adults and a video that could play for young people that would kind of capture the flair of who we are as an organization." So we are going to start it with this video. The young man's name is Joey Doherty. He just graduated from Warwick High School in Lancaster County. He loves music. He's a big music buff. And this is what he did. He went out, he got some professionals together, and he directed, and all the music you hear is his. So here's the video. It runs, how long is the video? Okay, it runs 6 minutes. All right, there we go. Thank you.
What do I do with his empty desk? I actually came to my room during the weekend, and I just started staring at all the other desks sitting there, and then my eyes focused on Phil's empty desk. And I was saying to myself, what am I going to do, knowing that when we return to school on Monday, all those students are going to be filing in. Am I going to move the desk? Am I going to keep it there? I had no clue. And it was the first of many things that we didn't know what to do. So we decided to leave it up to the students.
When Phil had passed away, it was something new, something different, and something terrifying. Nobody knew how to react. Not the kids, not the teachers, not the administrations.
You kind of want to know if everybody else is feeling the same way or if you're all by yourself. We didn't know what to think, how to feel, if we could talk about it, if we were allowed to talk about it.
The kids were suffering, the teachers were suffering, and I was mad because nobody was doing anything.
I guess we decided that we couldn't stay quiet anymore. We needed to get it out, we needed to talk.
They wanted to bring it out in the open. They wanted to talk about these issues. They refused. They refused just to sit silently. So we took action. Once we started, the adults started listening to what the students started to say and what the students needed to do, this thing just blossomed incredibly so.
We wanted to name the club, and we needed something that would stick with people and something that was meaningful.
From the Latin word vid, to see, live, life, comes a new word and a new club at school, creating a culture of compassion and empowering teens to make a difference. Avidum, I got your back. Avidum, we got your back.
And I can remember specifically the students saying, will anybody really listen to what we're doing? They started listening. We went to other schools, we went to Harrisburg, the news started covering us.
They came up with a word, avidum. They made it up from Latin roots, and it means I've got your back. And so kids can wear that shirt and can point to others and say, hey, we support you on this.
More and more people started listening. More of the adults started getting involved. More of the experts started lending their advice to us.
It didn't take me more than a few minutes to realize something very, very special is going on here.
What I loved about Avidum, after spending most of my career working for and looking out for at-risk youth, is that this was a tremendous groundswell of support coming from the kids themselves.
So this is an organization that is doing great work. There's no BS. It's sincere. It's true.
And this, in turn, is going to save so many more students, so many more kids.
You want to take it from the top, my friend?
Yeah.
Or from the top? Here we go, guys.
When you ask a child to write a song, to create some sort of picture or any type of artwork,
And they took it in their hands. They created something that's incredibly beautiful.
yes, it's an important lesson, but this is a student who wrote a song or a student who created a poster. And the second we took their young voices and their young talents and lifted it up,
when the stars don't shine so bright.
it ignited because it is authentic.
So why is it growing so rapidly? I think that's it. It's sincere, it's natural, it's the right thing to do, it's saving lives.
They came up with this. They saw a need and said, we have to do something about this. We cannot allow this to happen again.
It's been really great to be able to talk about it, to know that even though I lost my brother, that his legacy lives on.
We authentically listen and believe in the children, and we authentically use what they create to get that message out.
It's something bigger than we ever thought it would be.
I believe Avidum is going to be in every country in the world someday.
Avidum didn't come from a principal. It didn't come from a superintendent. It didn't come from a textbook.
Even when we're faced with the deepest and darkest tragedies, there is always learning, there is always something good that can come of it.
It came from two kids standing in a hallway talking to a teacher about how we were going to help save the world.
And I think that my hope is that everyone knows the word, but more importantly, that everyone knows that someone cares about them.
No more empty desks. You know, it's very simple. It's almost cliche, but I'll take it.
Avidum, I've got your back.
All right, class, we have your attention, please. Excellent job yesterday. Hopefully they can keep that momentum alive. Joey's not in this room, but can you give him a round of applause? I think he did a great job. We have someone pretty special here that's going to be speaking to start. Emily Keller.
What do I do with his empty desk?
It's good, but it's like...
I actually...
Emily Keller is a senior at Cocalico High School. And like so many stories, like so many of these stories when we're talking about suicide, and we're talking about real issues, there are tragedies. And Emily is going to share a story, and I have to tell you, she shared this the very first time publicly at Penn Manor High School last week, or 2 weeks ago, and she was speaking to high school students. This is her first time that she's going to be presenting it to a little older crowd. So Emily, you'd like to come up and you can tell your story.
Hi, I'm Emily Keller, and I really wish I wasn't the one giving this speech today. I'm here today to tell you a story about Kyle. Kyle was an adventurous, outgoing, happy guy. He had a great passion for skateboarding and always had a smile whenever you'd see him. Or at least that's what we thought. But Kyle had a deep secret he kept very well hidden. He was lonely and he was depressed. He was so depressed that he couldn't take life anymore, so he decided to take his own. He left trails of devastation, grief, confusion, and anger. I know this firsthand because Kyle was my brother. And for the last 3 years, I've quietly dealt with my brother's suicide. But today's different. Today I'm up here talking to you all in the hopes you won't have to feel what my family and I felt, and will forever feel. That's why VEDM is here, to spread the message of hope, so we won't have to spend countless nights at night asking, why me, what if, and how comes. Because let's face it, nobody is immune to suicide. You, your friends, your family, nobody. You never know where or when it's going to happen. The best thing we can do is educate ourselves on the signs, be there for each other, and more importantly, let someone be there for us. The better we understand this, the more lives we're going to save.
Thank you. What a VEDM believes in is the youth voice. And to hear Emily tell a story about her incredible brother, you know, we sit here and it hurts. It hurts us. I can only imagine what it would feel like in your shoes. So the courage for Emily to stand up here, and she's doing it for one simple reason. Why aren't you coming? I'm putting you on the spot for one.
Because I really don't want people to have to feel what my family and I felt like, and I don't, like, I would hate for you or you or you or you, for like anybody just to feel what I'm feeling, what my family's feeling. Like, that would just be awful. I just want to save lives.
And the part of this whole thing is, and when you're talking to a survivor, and a survivor is someone whose family member has died from suicide, when you're talking with a survivor and they're well aware of this, suicide is preventable. So suicide is preventable. So that's our message to everybody sitting here and anybody we talk to. If something is not right, if you're not feeling right for whatever reason, you or your friends, you have to make sure that they get help. And that's the message. If you take that one thing here, depression is treatable, suicide is preventable. And that's that. We could stop our presentation today. We're not going to. But if that's the message that this world could hear, there would be so many more incredible lives living here. So, thank you. Thank you, Wendy. Emily's brother was a skateboarder. Anyone here skate? Anyone here? Emily created this. She created and she wrote a story. This is her brother's skateboard. And she wrote this story so other skaters would be able to read the message. Read the message, and if their friends need help, to get them help. Now, as you're well aware, the skate community sometimes, they're not listening necessarily to all the school messages coming. It's difficult sometimes to reach all of our students in schools. So Emily had this brilliant idea. What if we got some skateboard company to sponsor something like this and hang it in every skate shop in this nation? And what if they could put the warning signs and the numbers and where the kids could go if they need help? And we can have famous skaters doing different things and different tricks and different things holding the skateboard. So that is what she is trying to do now, is trying to raise awareness. Now I have to tell you, if anything that I say today interests you, please make sure that you contact us. We need the help. So if someone sitting out there knows a professional skater, anyone? We were so close, right? That's the type of stuff we need. Or if someone says, you know what, I'd like to help out with that, we can easily connect you to the people to do that. So as much as we're talking about Avidum as this is what we've created, this is what we all need to be doing with this. So once again, okay. Now, so I'm sitting here talking, we're standing here talking about some serious stuff. And you can't see it from the back, but I have Lego table up here. You know, and it's like, wait, what's wrong with this guy? You know, he looks like he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's running around. He's not even using the microphone. How many people have heard me speak before? Okay, and that's great. There's only a few of you. If you've heard the presentation before, we're going to say different things, but when I ask for volunteers, please do not volunteer, and you know the reason why. I want to share the different message with the students. Does everyone have a pen? I'm looking at my classroom today. Raise your hand if you do not have a pen or pencil. Something to write with. Okay, it's fine. That's what Avidum means, have your backs, so share with each other. I'm going to ask you to write down and do certain things. The very first thing I'd like you to do is I want you to write the word calendar on your paper. It's a spelling test. You write the word calendar, and then beside it, I want you to tell me how certain you are that that word is spelled correctly. 0 to 100, be honest. And under calendar, I want you to write cemetery. And I want you to tell me, same thing, how certain are you that cemetery is spelled correctly? The next thing I need 5 very creative people. 5 very creative people to come up here, please. Yep, right here. Okay. Wait a minute, Millersville has 2 creative people. 3. Come on, I need a couple more, please. Someone volunteer. Do I have anyone else who can volunteer for this? Thank you. Okay, here's what we're going to do. This is very simple. I want to see this creativity firsthand. And what this creative group is going to do is they are going to have about 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, and they are going to build something spectacular. They are going to build the most creative city imaginable. There's a couple rules. They only have about 3 minutes. Every single person has to contribute. Every single person has to contribute. And they at least have to use at least 5 blocks each. Ready? On your marks, get set. Now, as they're doing this, I'm still going to be talking, so you got to quietly build a city. Can we do that? All right. Is that my phone? I'll get it. Here we go. Go! Okay, as they're doing that quietly, I need your attention over here. How many people have ever had their cell phone go off in a crowded room? What's it feel like? Right? It's embarrassing. Right? You're looking around. I had a student come up with this idea. In fact, every idea that you see was generated by a student, including the Lego table. But we'll get to that in a second. Student had this idea. I was saying, what does it really feel like when you're depressed? Or what does it feel like when you're struggling with something? And a student said, Mr. Velofis, creativity team, a little bit quieter. All right, they're in the middle of creativity. The student said, it's like a cell phone going off in a crowded room. You're trying to silence it so nobody can hear what you're feeling, but it gets out, and you try to silence it. So you know what we do now? We go to these presentations everywhere, and it's brilliant. Like really formalized, like, you know, you have to stand behind the podium talking type presentations, and we put a student in the middle of the crowd, and their cell phone goes off as we're speaking. And the very first thing they do is they silence it almost immediately, right? Of course, everybody knows because you're thinking, put your cell phone on, right? So then what happens? A couple minutes later, the cell phone rings again. Only this time, the student lets it ring. Could you imagine sitting at a formal place and someone's cell phone is going off and they're not silencing it? People start to look around, and that's when the student stands up and says, a cell phone goes off in a crowded room. That's what it feels like when you're a teenager sitting in a room and you're struggling with something so bad and no one seems to see it. Wow, that's powerful stuff. See, that's what a VEDOM does. It simply takes the messages from our students, the ideas from our students, the gifts and talents of our students. They take the message that the experts say everybody needs, and these students just put it out to the whole world to hear in a creative way. That's a pretty powerful presentation with a cell phone. And believe me, it works. People see it. People see it. Okay, now, how's the creative team over here? Okay, let's give them a round of applause. I'm going to applaud before I even look. Okay, now I'm going to look. Okay. All right, hold on. All right, I have to explain this. Here, let's go here. If it falls, no. All right. What do you think? Wow, I heard. All right, can someone tell me why this is creative?
All right, so it's got a couple things. It's got a really tall thing, and that's also where the police are. Yeah,
is this the police?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He represents their power and authority watching over the city.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, there's an eyeball because this is an Orwellian controlling
Okay.
society. There's a plane. It's on the runway.
I see it. It's taking off.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, let's be honest. That is creative. Let's give a round of applause for creativity. Now, here's where it gets fun. And I need this help. Now, I know you volunteered. That means that you're not scared to stand up in front of people. If you like what you hear today, will you help us take our message far and wide? Yes, no? Maybe? Maybe? Okay. All right. Emily, we're getting people. We have more people to help. All right? All right, cool. Now, here's the question that I have. I have done this presentation 500 times, maybe even more, all over the country, all age groups, all different types of people. And only one time, did the students do what I want them to learn. And it was a third grade classroom. That takes nothing away from the creativity of this team. It doesn't, because I think I'm pretty creative. I think I'm pretty creative, and I would have done exactly what they did. That's pretty cool. It really is. And I love the symbolism. I love the eye looking over things. I love the plane taking off. I think that's cool. But here's the question. How much more creative would this city have been if we would have taken this plane, which is on this car, if we would have taken this plane and we would have flown this thing? Can you just hold it up just for a second? There we go. There. You can put your hand down whenever you're ready. But how much more creative would it have been if we would have taken this and go parked it out front, or go parked it in a spot, and like literally taken it out and put it in, or put it somewhere different? How much more creative if we would have taken this watchful eye and go put it in the bathroom or something like that? Raise your hand if you think this city would have been more creative. Yes or no? Doesn't take away from their creativity. Maybe. Might have taken a little creative, just a little bit. So the question is, why did you do that?
No, we did it on the table.
Why? I never said it.
We didn't think outside the table.
Everything outside the table, right? It's not right. Outside the box, outside the box. We get it. But you know what? You do what every single one does, what I would have done. What a VEDOM says, this world is a Lego table. All of this thing is a Lego table. And it is time for us to take our ideas and to really push them out. If we have to make people uncomfortable, guess what? We will. Because for far too long in schools across this country, their messages didn't leave this. We put them in a nice little box. Oh, mental health stuff? Oh, that goes in the counseling office. Because a student will go into the counseling office and they will pick up the little pamphlet sitting there. Definitely they will. Right, wrong. Who would do that? No one's going to do that. But yet, that's what we think. That's what you do with something like that. You can't talk about these issues. You may remind them that they're going through something. Really? Right? Guess what? Talking about suicide does not make someone kill themselves. Period. The experts say it, not me, and I'm an English teacher, but the experts say that. We have to talk about it. So when our students first said we'd have to talk about this, well, wait a second. Are we allowed? Why are we allowed? Because the Vedum says take that thing away from the table. We all built on these tables because that's what we learned when we were little. I used to have that little green thing, right? That's how you have to build it. You know what's fun with this? I actually sometimes put this in like an awkward spot. And you'll have people like trying to stretch and go around. We do this with 50, 60 people, and they're going around it. You know, it's amazing how it is. So they did a great job. Thank you for that. And I need your help to do something. Okay, thank you. How many round of applause? Okay, now, so how do we? Thank you very much.
Do you want this guy's
Yes,
playing back?
1,000%.
Do you want the plane back?
Yeah, let's fly that over here. You're a creative one. Throw it at me, right? Thank you very much. All right, let's just have some fun with the words on the page. I'm an English teacher, so we have to do something with academics, right? Spelling is important, they tell me, so I'm going to teach spelling. How many people are 100% sure that they can spell the word calendar? Oh, that's the verses. How many people are not certain that they can spell the word calendar? All right. How about cemetery? Who's not certain that they can spell cemetery? Right? There's a lot of hands up behind us here. Here we go. Here's what the rule is. I can teach you how to spell calendar in 20 seconds, and you'll remember it for the rest of your life. Are you ready? Most of us struggle with what letter in calendar? Right? That last vowel. What is it? Is it an E or an A? An E or an A? I don't know. And those of you who are great spellers, well, it just is. I just see it. Bad spellers, we don't see it at all. So guess what? I struggled. I don't know that last vowel. Let's find a solution. Let's find a creative solution. Here you go. First month of the year is what? January. Second month of the year. February. Third month of the year. March. This is a very intelligent crowd. So let's see if I can write this on the board. Are you ready? J-A-N for January. You see that? C-A-L. February. F-E-B. C-A-L-E-N-D-A for March. March is some of you are like, yeah, that's cool. Right? Raise your hand if you will now be able to spell that word forever with 100% certainty. Of course you will. Here's cemetery. Cemetery, very simply. And I'll tell you why I'm doing this in a second. Here's cemetery. It works great with kids. I'm not going to do it because we don't have a ton of time. But I would say, do you know that there are vowel cemeteries here at Millersville? So then we'd take a little walk. I'd say, over here is where all the A's are buried. When you delete an A, guess where it's buried? Here. What's buried here? A. Any other letter allowed? No. And then we go over here. Over here's where E's are buried. What's buried here? E. Over here's where I's are buried. And we went all over the place. And then I get back to the students. What's the first letter in cemetery? Okay, we're good. Second letter? E. What is allowed buried in the E cemetery? What vowel? E. So if you put an A in that word, wrong. C-E-M-E-T-E-R-Y. Now listen, do I care if you can spell the word cemetery? No, I don't care. I don't care if you can spell calendar. But here's the question. And it is something that really sometimes almost haunts me. What if the solution to a lot of these problems that plague us, especially the problems that are preventable, what if it's as simple as we have to just look at it a little bit differently? A little bit differently. If I can show you how to spell calendar in a minute, 20 seconds, maybe I can help you save someone's life or do something different. And that's all the Vedum does. I truly and passionately, I believe in this. I believe that it doesn't have to be that difficult to do something. It doesn't have to be so complex. It's as simple as people coming together and saying, let's get our message out there and let's see what we're going to do. I'm going to share a couple of the things that the students have done, and I'm sharing this with the hopes that it would inspire others. Millersville University has committed to helping Avito in a very serious way, and it makes me feel incredible. I am a graduate of this university. Millersville is very special to me. My father-in-law was a longtime professor in this university. My wife, who is an elementary school principal, is a graduate of this university. So this is a pretty special place. Do I have anyone here who's on the radio station on campus? Anyone in the radio station on campus? Is it still
WIXQ.
What is it?
WIXQ.
WIXQ, yeah. One of my lifelong friends who graduated from Millersville in the early 90s, he was very involved in the radio, the IXQ here. I thought they changed it to Q92 when I was here. I guess they went back to something. But he was very involved and very active, and he was very active in the local radio community then after graduating from Millersville. And sadly, he took his own life. So part of the reason I'm standing up here is because of this gentleman. His name is Keith Rank. He was this incredible person, this absolutely incredible person. But we knew Keith always struggled with drugs and alcohol his whole life. And as one of his best friends, I saw that firsthand all the time, and I just kept saying, that's Keith. You know, that's Keith. Yeah, he'll wake up tomorrow, he'll be fine. You know, he was screaming the whole time through. And I think as a friend, I didn't see some of those signs to maybe get this young man who needed help, to get him help. So this is an important university to me. And I'm just excited to reach out and say, we need the college students. I'm going to show you a couple things real quickly. Ben Porter is standing there. Ben is actually a freshman at Millersville. He graduated from Cocalico last year, and Ben has been instrumental with helping us with our message. So it's incredible that he's still very active. And when I told him that Millersville is interested in doing some things, he got very excited too as well. So Ben, thank you for all that you've done. What should we play, Ben?
What do you want to play?
Oh, that's not fair. Can we do a song? Or a video? Let's do a video.
All right.
What video do we have? Not the banana.
No? Hempfield?
Yeah, let's do the Hempfield. This is very short. Oh, you come over here.
I got your I got your got your I got your back I got your back I got your back I got your back I
Okay, right? And that just keeps looping around, right? Students, when we reached out to Hempfield, do I have any graduates from Hempfield High School here? Okay. When we reached out to Hempfield, Hempfield was one of the first local school districts to join our cause to come on board. And they put that together. We needed something to start a presentation with, and they put that together for us. Again, what does it mean to have somebody's back? What does it mean to be there for somebody? If I ask an elementary class, what does it mean to be a good friend? You know what students almost always say? Good friends keep secrets. Someone I can trust to keep my secrets. What scares me about that? I'm sorry? What scares me about that? Not all secrets should be kept secret. I have a 6th grade daughter at home. I hope that if she says something to one of her friends that I need to know or somebody needs to know, I hope that that friend knows enough to go and get help, to get my daughter help. Middle school, high school, what's it mean to be a good friend? What's it mean to be a good friend at the college level? Can someone tell me what it means to be a good friend? What's it mean? I'm sorry? I didn't hear what you said.
Wake me up if I miss my class.
Yeah, that's right. Why not? Right? Because an enemy's going to say, I want you to sleep because I want you to fail that, and then I'll be better than you. A good friend is, come on, what are you doing? But you go, you have to go, and you have to do great things. Right? That's what a good friend does. It wakes you up. What else does a good friend do? What's it do?
Helps you get through tough times.
Absolutely. Helps you get through tough times. How many of you here would get your friend help, true, sincere help, if they needed it? What if your friend comes to you and says, I'm thinking of killing myself, but don't say anything to anyone? You have to say something to someone, right? Even if they say beforehand, I have a secret, but you have to promise me you're not going to tell anybody. Okay, I promise. I'm going to kill myself. Okay, guess what? It's time to just get them to somebody who can help them. Try to convince them to get someone to help, and if they're not resistant, then if they're resistant, then you actually go and do it. How many people here would wear a banana costume in a crowded room to save their friend's life? This is a great place. You know why? I actually have someone who volunteered to wear a banana costume. Not yet. Right, that takes a round. Now listen, how incredible is it? Right, we're talking about serious stuff. You know, on one hand, I'm almost in tears talking. Poor everybody's putting her soul out, and we're out here wearing our banana costumes. Yes, we are. Because we need to. If you took one thing away from what Emily said today, as well as we have to do what we have to do to save lives. We have to. She's given us permission to be silly if it saves somebody's life. Wearing a banana costume in a crowded room, yeah, that's silly. The idea came from a student who was very involved in TV production at our school. And what she said was, a banana walking down a hallway, everybody's going to look at. If only someone who was depressed or who had problems, if only it stuck out like a banana walking down the hallway. But it doesn't stick out like that. And since it doesn't, that means we really have to look at our friends. I want to share this video. Nikki made this video when she was in high school. Why a banana? Because that's what was in the TV studio. Had there been an apple in the studio, you'd be wearing an apple today. So here we go. Bang, can you put?
Depression doesn't always stick out.
How cool is that? Know the warning signs. Depression isn't always going to stick out. And you know what's really cool? Is everywhere we go, we have someone wearing a banana costume. Come here. We were at the governor's. Yeah, there's the governor standing beside our student with a banana. That was kind of cool. We have so many politicians from across the state of Pennsylvania on the Capitol steps, right? There's the politician. There's the banana. We were in Washington, D.C. We had a sit-down meeting, right, with the Senate Majority Leader of the United States. Harry Reid invited our Avidum students to his office for a little sit-down with Harry Reid and a couple of Avidum students talking about suicide prevention across this nation. That's incredible. I don't care what your political affiliation is. That's pretty sweet stuff. Guess what we thought? Could we get the banana costume through security? And we did. It was so cool, right? The greatest thing is Harry Reid's response to our students when he said, I'm from Las Vegas. I've seen far worse than the bananas. But bananas, it sticks out. So when we go to schools, we say, listen, someone came up with the banana concept. What is your concept going to be? What are you going to create to get your message out there, to prove a point that depression doesn't always stick out? There's something I want to share. Music is a big, 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 big part of Avidum. It's huge. And I'd like to direct your attention real quickly to Ryan Wickersham, who's in the back. Ryan, can you come up here real fast, if you don't mind? You'll also notice that my students and former students know that they never know what to expect. I'm just going to pull them up at a certain time. Ryan is a graduate from Calico High School, and he's a great musician. And he was out a few years and came back to help us out with some music. And what ended up happening was we started taking some musicians, and they sat down with Ryan, and they're creating an incredible music CD. Can you talk just briefly about what that CD is like?
Yeah, it's just like he said, I'd seen the organization happening for a little bit, and or for a couple of years, I guess. And at all the events, at an event bigger than this, we would have kids performing, and they were playing all these songs. And I got to talking to Joe, and these songs were original pieces of music these kids have been writing for their friends and for Beatum. And so I came up with the idea to put all these songs together, put it on an album, and then give these kids a chance to have it recorded professionally and then distributed just like any other record gets on iTunes and everything. So we actually just finished recording the record at my studio. We're working on all the post-production for it now, but you know, it was amazing to see like all these kids like that had never seen each other before, coming from Penn Manor, Garden Spot, Solanco, Catholic, Cocalico, and they were all working together, writing music, singing, and it was all for the cause. It was, you know, they were having fun, but it was actually pretty cool what they were doing too. So.
We're going to be able to play some of that here. The musicians that we wanted to come with us today, 4 o'clock was a little too early for them with school. They're getting out of their school. They weren't able to get here on time. So we do have some of the sound here. I do want to say something about the music. Do I have any really big music fans here? If you really are into music, if you're into anything like post-production and stuff like that as well, we need some help. The other thing that we need is we need some money to get this CD out, to get this thing produced, so we can make copies and send it out. So we're going to actually be doing some fundraising where we're going to try to get some money for our students. It's not for us, it's for these high school students, so we can get their sound so everybody could hear. If we needed help with a fundraiser, and please don't raise your hand if you're not serious, but raise your hand if you'd be willing to help us with some sort of fund. I don't mean give us money physically, I mean help us with the fundraiser to raise money for whether it's a CD or something to help kids. Raise your hand if you would honestly commit to that. See, when I see that, I mean, I think that's incredible. So maybe at the very end we can somehow set something up, because I love to see that music out there. We're going to play a song. It's called Just Listen. It was written by a student, a high school student who never had depression by her own admission. She never experienced anything firsthand, but her friends did. And her one friend especially did. And what she did was she reached out and she wrote this song. And she wanted everybody just to listen. So she wrote the song. And here's Just Listen. We'll play just a sample of it. Is that okay? Here it is. It's really cool. These are by students all over the county. Right?
Did you ever want to drive a little longer? It's a good back road to somewhere you don't belong, and you just listen. Did you ever want to sit under the moon? Tell it all your fears as it smiles back in the world. Just listen. Listen to the heart inside of me. Listen to the sound of rain wash free. It's what my dad tells me. Listen to the God above me speak. We hear the cry of people's needs. Does anybody listen? Down the phone and pick up a guitar. Listen to the radio in your car. Then turn it down and really listen. Oh, listen to the heart inside of me. Listen to the sound of rain wash free. It's what my dad tells me. Listen to the God above me speak. We hear the quiet people's needs. Does anybody listen?
So cool. And we have music yeah, that's a definite music from all the genres are there. We have some songs that are just incredible, all focusing on what does it mean to be a friend, to be an advocate, advocacy. So this is what Avidum does in a school. We can't go in every day and just talk about suicide and depression. That would get old very quickly. So what we do is our goal now is to create a culture of care and advocacy in schools, communities across this nation. We want to create an environment where students have each other's backs. That word Avidum, again, created by a 16-year-old. She made up the word. And that word was created, I had asked her, I said, Jacqueline, I would like a word that a teenager could say to another teenager in a crowded cafeteria that means, are you okay? She came back with this word. It's ours. It's yours. And our goal is to get that word all over this planet and also to get it in the dictionary someday. That's the goal. Right? So think about it. Think about the songs, what students are really, truly doing with this. There's something else called Just 23, and I'm going to have you try this. My time is limited here, but we'll see if we can do this quickly. They came up with this concept, 23-word stories. So we have this number, why 23, why not? It's a random number, 23-word stories on any of the topics facing teenagers today. So this is what students have done. They have this little sheet of paper with 23 blocks. They pick the topic, whatever the topic is, and they write a 23-word story, and some schools actually put these stories around their hallways. Some of the stories are pretty sweet. Do you have them? Do you have the stories or the things? Go ahead, put a couple up real quickly. I am alive after years of fighting, struggling with the monster. The scars on my arms now are just battle scars. I've won. He told me he loved me. He lied. I cried. My friends were there for me like always. I beat them. They had my back. Okay? Our society is always promising us ways to become flawless and happy. But our judgmental society needs a makeover, not you. You're beautiful. These are kids who are writing this. I try to hide it, I really do. No one knows what's going on. But if you saw the scars, could you guess? I walk down the hallway smiling and laughing with my friends. I always seem so put together and happy. I'm good at pretending. Right? And these stories have different messages. There's one I'd like to share. A 9th grader, she was writing about self-esteem. Ready for this one? It's singed in my mind. Mirror, mirror on the wall, must you point out every flaw? I try to be who I really am. Can't you see I'm beautiful? It was written by a 9th grader. This 9th grader wrote that, put that on a mirror in the school. Mirror, mirror on the wall, must you point out every flaw? I try to be who I really am. Can't you see I'm beautiful? Another young lady saw it and added this to the mirror. Stop trying to make me something I don't want to be. I am me and only me. Outgoing, silly, crazy, beautiful, wonderful me. How cool is that message? I wish every single 9th grade girl would get that message and scream that to the world. These young ladies put a song, we have part of the song. They put that into a song. They sang that at an assembly, performed it at an assembly. By the time that assembly was finished, as they were singing it, images of all the students in the school were appearing on the stage as these young ladies were singing this. At the very end, the lights came on. Tears, all the young ladies were crying. The guys didn't know what hit them. They were just sitting there like, it was like watching a Lifetime movie. It felt pretty bad. And here's a sample just a little bit.
Every flaw
could talk to our students all day about self-esteem. Yeah, right. Right? Another student talking to a student, that's big. And what does that do? It helps us to create a culture of care. And in our culture of care, we can get back to our original message. If your friend needs help, get your friend help. Go to the counseling office, pick up a phone, talk to an adult who will do something, who will make a difference and get that person help. I would ask you, but we're going to be limited in time. If we had a little bit more time, I would have you write a 23 on what does it mean to be a friend. What message could you give to your friends? To anyone who's doing student teaching or anything like that, where you're in a school, write a 23 telling your students what they mean to you, how important they are to you, right? I know, maybe it sounds hokey, a little goofy, but write that to your own friends. It gives us an excuse to do something, to get a message out, right? I've done so many conferences, and the things that people have created in 23s have been incredible. I had one young lady write a 23. It said something like, people often ask me what my past was like, you know, something, 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 and it says, I simply pull up my sleeves. Why don't you tell me, I asked. This is what she said. I'm talking to this young lady, it was a 23. I said, can you turn this into some sort of story? 5 months later, she handed me a 23,000 word story. To my writers out there, 23,000 word story from a high schooler, that was good. That's incredible stuff. Why? Because she was motivated. We gave them the excuse to do it. So here's what I need from all of you. I need your help. The students need your help. I don't want Emily standing alone on the stage talking. I want her flanked with a whole bunch of people. She'll stand up there and give that message, but we need a lot of people around her. I would love to see that word all over this campus. I would love to see this word all over the communities where you're from. And we can truly make a difference. It started 10 years ago at Calico High School. When it started, we were one of the first schools in the nation actively talking about depression and suicide awareness. One of the first schools in the nation. We are now growing very quickly all over the country. I received a phone call yesterday from someone in Florida who started the organization with their elementary students. Now, they're not talking about suicide in second grade, but they're talking about friendship. That's kind of cool. We've been on Good Morning America. We've been on a lot of the regular radio shows, a lot of the television. We've been all over. But what's most important to me is when I'm standing in front of young people. When I'm talking to high schoolers and middle schoolers and elementary students, their resources are limited. When I'm standing in front of you, it's endless what you can do. And if those high schoolers see you involved, it'll amp them up even more to do something far greater. If you're willing to help Avidum, sincerely, if you're willing, could you please raise your hand? That is awesome. Guys, could you come up here, please? Matt, come up as well. Matt is Emily's cousin, and he's here for support. Again, showing what advocacy means. So what do you think? If we had one thing to ask them, other than for help, what can we ask them? I'm putting them totally on the spot. What can we ask them?
Just get the word out there. I know sometimes suicide's a rough topic, but really just talking about it makes a big difference.
Anything else? How about take out your cell phones, everybody? If you have a cell phone, please take it out. All right. We are starting a campaign. Actually, Emily is starting this. It's going to be starting next month at Calico High School and all the Avidum schools. It's called It's in Your Cell campaign. And what we want is every single person, young and old, who has a cell phone to put the suicide lifeline number in the phone. Saved as a contact. This is a 24/7, they're always available. A counselor will talk to you on the other end if you need help, and they can assess the situation. It doesn't matter who you are, why you're calling, they can get help if you need the help. Let me give you the number. It's 800-273-8255. 800-273-8255. And 8255 actually spells talk. So 1-800-273-8255. Commit yourself right now that if you or a friend needs help, that you reach out to somebody, and if you're scared to reach out or you don't know what to do, you call that number. It doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. and you see something on one of their pages, Facebook or Twitter, something, and you're concerned. Hey, I just saw this and I'm concerned, I don't know what to do. Allow them to help you assess that situation. Since your phones are out, if you're willing to do this, could you text the word Avidum to a friend? AEDIDUM. Could you text that to a friend? Just text the word, and when they say, "What's that?" just say, "I'm here for you." You know, you don't have to, but please do. Wait 30 seconds. Is there an artist in the room? Is there an artist in the room? Does someone know an artist, an incredible artist? You know an artist? Okay. We need an album cover for this CD. When I'm done talking, if you're interested in anything, I'm going to ask you to come up and talk to whomever we need to up here to get the help. We definitely need an album cover. So, on behalf of Avidum, I thank each and every one of you. It is my pure hope that we can all call you Avidum advocates, that we can get you on our side. Like us on Facebook, do all that social media stuff that we need to do. So I thank you all, and thank you to the students especially. If you're willing to help with artwork, if you're willing to help us with the fundraiser, we really need to raise this money to help these students. And I think it'd be cool if we had college students helping to raise the money so the high school kids' voices could be heard. Yes, I'm sorry.
Joe, I just would like to publicly offer that I would like to, under the Center for Sustainability, to be in the conversation here at Millersville.
Yeah,
To offer it as a safe spot for students to be in the conversation. And I will have it on the website.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you, everybody.